She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a deep dive into one of the most talked about rumors buzzing around Hollywood right now. The alleged behind-the-scenes drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni on the set of It Ends With Us. From secret text messages and intimacy coordinator confusion, to swirling fan theories that Blake might have actually developed feelings for Justin, there's a whole lot to unpack. Remember, as always, these are theories and speculation based on various reports, leaks, and fan discussions. Nothing is absolutely confirmed unless publicly stated by those involved. So, buckle up and let's explore how this story turned into one of the most intriguing controversies of the year. Our story begins with the highly anticipated film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's bestseller, It Ends With Us. The project generated buzz for multiple reasons: its best-selling source material, Blake Lively's star power, and Justin Baldoni's involvement as both director and co-star. Fans were stoked to see how these two would bring the intense, romantic, and emotional narrative to life. However, that initial excitement soon morphed into questions, concerns, and behind-the-scenes whispers. Not too long after filming kicked off,
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle. And I hope people find it inspiring, and yet also, you know, it's a film about a heavy topic. It's about domestic violence.
rumors started flying that Blake was unhappy with various production elements. Everything from wardrobe decisions to how on-set intimacy was handled. Then came the even bigger bombshell. Some theories suggested Blake's complaints might be tied to deeper, more personal feelings she developed for Justin. In short, fans began to suspect. Did Blake catch real feelings for her co-star and director? And if so, how did that affect everything else on set? Let's dive into how these theories sprang up and whether any evidence supports them. A major component of these rumors is the suggestion that Blake Lively fell in love, or at least experienced some level of attraction, toward Justin Baldoni while filming. The speculation hinges on Blake's past pattern of occasionally forming real-life connections with her co-stars. She famously dated Penn Badgley when they played on-screen lovers in Gossip Girl, and she ultimately married Ryan Reynolds after they met filming Green Lantern. There were also rumors of close connections with Ben Affleck on the set of The Town. Fans point to these earlier patterns as evidence Blake might once again have found real sparks on set, especially since It Ends With Us features an intense, passionate storyline that could blur boundaries. Blake has talked before about how she doesn't completely shapeshift into roles. She admits she often pours her own personality into her characters. With a story so focused on strong emotional and romantic elements, it's easy to see why fans suspect real feelings might have developed. One key aspect of the controversy centers on the film's wardrobe choices and the presence, or supposed lack, of an intimacy coordinator. Early on, Blake complained that production didn't provide a proper intimacy coordinator for steamy scenes and that she was pushed to wear more revealing outfits. But leaked conversations and insider accounts paint a different picture. Blake, by some reports, was heavily involved in choosing her costumes, even pulling pieces from her personal closet. She sometimes acted as the de facto intimacy coordinator, choreographing romantic scenes herself. She initially claimed Justin pushed for steamier material, but evidence suggests she also requested certain changes and rewrites to heighten the sensuality. Critics say her accusations appear inconsistent with how much creative control she exerted. Some observers theorize that if Blake was developing genuine feelings on set, she might have tried to increase intimacy, then reversed her stance when it didn't lead to the outcome she'd hoped for. Additional friction arose when Blake claimed that Justin did things like kiss her longer than scripted or enter her trailer uninvited while she was breastfeeding.
I'm honored, and I'm also more honored that because, you know, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful, that we're able to have this much anticipation, and so many people want to go see it and are talking about it. Like, that's what I'm grateful for.
And you had a key part in bringing it to the big screen. How did this all come to be?
Well, in 2019, I read the book. I was sent the book by my book agent and friend at the time, and I was looking for films that could inspire, that were commercially viable, but also could really like reach in and touch somebody's heart.
Yet leaked messages suggest that Blake had actually invited Justin to her trailer to go over lines, and he only headed over after finishing a meal. casting doubt on the idea that he barged in. As for longer than necessary kisses, some bystanders on set allege Blake guided Justin on positioning and timing, raising the question of who was really pushing for more intimacy. These conflicting reports make many wonder if there's more to Blake's allegations than meets the eye. If an emotional connection was at play, or if she felt unreciprocated interest, it might explain why she later framed these moments as boundary violations rather than simple production miscommunications. Justin Baldoni, known for his role in Jane the Virgin and his focus on heartfelt storytelling, took on dual responsibilities as director and co-star. He describes himself as adopting a method-like approach to playing Ryle, keeping a journal as if he were the character and immersing himself in Ryle's traumas. Ryle is portrayed as both charming and troubled, a dynamic that could create a compelling and potentially confusing environment on set. If Blake is pouring herself into her role as Lily, who finds Ryle initially irresistible, and Justin is method acting a magnetic, passionate character, it's understandable that personal emotions might blur with fictional ones. In addition to the behind-the-scenes chatter, fans have referenced social media hints that might imply Blake's personal interest in Justin. One example is a playful comment on Justin's workout post, in which Blake wrote something like, "Amazing. Now try it pregnant," with Justin responding, "You win." To some, it was harmless banter. Others read it as light flirting, or a subtle way for Blake to get on Justin's radar by inserting herself into the conversation. Meanwhile, Blake has openly stated her love for romance in films and in her own life. She admits that costumes and on-set chemistry help her feel the character. Considering that many of her own personal touches made it into the "It Ends With Us" wardrobe, it could be that she was hoping for a spark that transcended fiction. Hollywood watchers were quick to recall Blake's prior relationships and rumored flings that began, or intensified, on set. She dated Penn Badgley during Gossip Girl. There's ongoing speculation she grew close to Ben Affleck during The Town, and her long-lasting marriage to Ryan Reynolds started after filming Green Lantern. People who believe the new rumors argue that this pattern suggests Blake is someone who can't help mixing real feelings with on-screen romance. Some fans believe that when Blake realized Justin was not responding in kind,
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of two people maybe, and then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
Either you got the job or there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And they said, "So you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting."
Oh, what?
Oh no.
And then they went like, "So what can we do about your eyebrows?"
perhaps keeping things professional, she pivoted to what they see as unfounded claims of him overstepping boundaries. The suggestion is that, hurt by the rejection, she flipped the script to make him appear at fault. Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband, also factors into the theory. Certain rumors claim Ryan visited the set more frequently once he sensed tension or possible flirtation between Blake and Justin. Fans look at his jokes on social media or comments about family as potential signs of jealousy. None of this has been confirmed, but the speculation persists. Some interpret Ryan's presence as him protecting his marriage, others see it as simple support, yet the rumor mill keeps turning. Another angle is why Blake would take any discontent public. The speculation goes that by formally accusing Justin of improper conduct, like overly long kisses or unauthorized visits to her trailer, she could deflect from her own emotional entanglement. If Ryan had concerns, shifting blame onto Justin would quell any suspicion that Blake herself was the one cultivating too much intensity on set. The contradictory nature of the accusations, especially compared with leaked chats, fuels this perspective. Critics of Blake's complaint argue that such claims don't line up with how intimately involved she was in scripting and wardrobe decisions. This gap between her public statements and alleged behind-the-scenes evidence is where the unrequited crush theory gains traction. Filming It Ends With Us wasn't just another rom-com. It deals with serious themes like domestic violence, personal trauma, and complex relationships. There's an emotional toll to telling such a story, and cast members have hinted that they experienced this firsthand. What started as a promising adaptation turned into a swirl of rumors about real-life romantic drama overshadowing the central theme of the movie. As the dust settled, people noticed that Blake seemed to be taking more production control. She was said to have had a big say in rewrites, costumes, and the tone of key scenes. Some see this as standard Hollywood star power. Others suggest it's a sign of deeper emotional investment in the project, and perhaps a way to steer the film's narrative in a direction she was comfortable with, especially if real feelings were involved. One especially intriguing possibility is that the method-acting approach from Justin and Blake's own style of blending real emotions with her characters.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
Created a perfect storm for confusion. If Blake was truly immersing herself in a romance-heavy plot while Justin channeled every nuance of a deeply flawed but charismatic Ryle, any personal vulnerabilities either actor brought to the table could magnify the chemistry. When that intensity didn't result in a genuine off-screen romance, or if it wasn't reciprocated, the emotional fallout might have found its way into official complaints. Some speculate it was embarrassing for Blake to realize she might have misread signals, so she turned the narrative around to protect herself and her marriage. To date, Justin Baldoni has remained largely professional in public statements. He praises the cast, talks about the importance of the story, and avoids fueling the rumor fire. Blake's complaints, meanwhile, made headlines regarding costuming and set conditions, but mostly stayed vague on personal drama. Neither has directly addressed theories of an unrequited crush. Without explicit confirmation or denial, fans continue piecing together details from interviews, social media posts, and alleged text leaks. If Blake truly wanted a brief emotional thrill, perhaps spurred by a post-baby desire for a new spark, she might have tested whether Justin would reciprocate. He apparently did not, and instead maintained professional boundaries, maybe even tactfully reminding her that certain behaviors had to stay in the realm of the characters. Once she realized the interest wasn't mutual, hurt feelings could have led her to allege wrongdoing on his part, from overextending kisses to barging into her trailer. Some also believe that if Reynolds sensed tension or disloyalty brewing, Blake would need to demonstrate that any awkwardness came from Justin's side. Thus, filing complaints or airing grievances publicly would shift scrutiny onto Justin. Fans who subscribe to this theory see it as a damage control mechanism for Blake's image and marriage. Throughout her career, Blake has had a track record of stepping into romantic projects that sometimes mirror her personal life developments. Pair that with Justin's empathetic, intensity-driven style, and you have a scenario many find plausible. Real feelings got tangled up in the fictional ones, whether it was a momentary crush, a surge of postpartum vulnerability, or just on-set overexcitement, we might never know.
She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
Were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's, I got snot coming out of my nose.
Still, the notion that it all ended in bitterness and confusing public accusations remains a subject of heated debate. Some fans defend Blake, insisting her complaints about the lack of a proper intimacy coordinator and costume meddling are valid. Others side with Justin, believing he has been unjustly villainized for not reciprocating or for simply performing his job. What's clear is that It Ends With Us Now carries more intrigue than ever. The conversation around the film shifted from excitement about a beloved novel's adaptation to salacious speculation over its leading actors' off-screen rapport. In Hollywood, behind-the-scenes gossip sometimes overshadows the final product, and this might be one of those cases. Even so, there's hope the movie itself remains faithful to Colleen Hoover's emotionally charged story. Whether or not there was real drama fueling the on-screen chemistry, fans are eager to see the finished work. Many wonder if all this tension might actually elevate the performances. After all, some of cinema's most memorable love stories emerged from tumultuous sets. In the end, the theory we've explored posits a simple but juicy premise. Blake Lively may have sought more than just a performance with Justin Baldoni. When she realized the feeling wasn't mutual, she leveraged her star power to frame the situation on her terms. The confusion surrounding intimacy coordinators, wardrobe decisions, and allegations of inappropriate conduct might all be cover for a deeper emotional conflict. Of course, we won't know the real story unless those involved choose to clarify. For now, all we have are fan interpretations, leaked texts, and puzzling contradictions. Hollywood is no stranger to blurred lines between fiction and reality, and if this saga proves anything, it's that the public remains fascinated by the possibility of art imitating life. So there you have it. A look at the rumor that has everyone talking. Did Blake Lively actually fall for Justin Baldoni on the set of It Ends With Us? And did it spark the onslaught of allegations we've seen? Or was this simply a case of creative differences turned into tabloid chatter? As always, you get to decide which version of events makes the most sense. If you found this deep dive interesting, hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the behind-the-scenes drama of Hollywood's biggest projects. Let us know in the comments. Do you believe there was something more going on between these two? Or is it all just internet speculation run wild?